Hello, welcome back. So this is part 2 for the 77 Witchy questions tag. So question 17. What are your feelings on raising kids in the craft? I feel like if people can be taking their children to church and to whatever religions as soon as they're born, basically, I don't see any problem bringing them into witchcraft just as early. And I mean, obviously keeping things like age appropriate. You know, maybe don't have like a lot of the sexy time at Beltane when they're like small. Beltane, for example, like when puberty comes around, that's a really good time to have those conversations. And it also helps people to learn like the natural cycles of life and stuff, especially whatever kind of focus you put them on. And so I don't see a problem with it. I'd be a little hesitant bringing them to a lot of gatherings unless it is like gonna be definitely family, like okay. Because again, sometimes pagans can be a little much on the sexuality side and having it very out there. Speaking as when I was a minor and went to a few of them, I was like, dude, like, I'm not even 18, like, read the room. Question 18. If you were a goddess or a god, who would you be? I don't know. I would love to think that I would be like this badass kind of one, but I don't think I would be. But we've lost so many of them to time, so I don't know if there would have been one that was better suited for me. But probably, I don't know, I'd love to say hell, because again, I'm really focusing on like what mythology I know the most, which is currently Norse. Again, I haven't really studied like Greek or Roman any more than you would in school. And like Egyptian, I've only studied like a couple, and like none of those I really feel like I fit. And then like it'd either be like Isis, where you take care of everybody and like you care about your spouse, or it would be like hell, where it's like society doesn't really know what to do with you, so you're just kind of like tossed into this region and you just take care of everything there. I feel like that could be appropriate, because I'm not like, I'd love to say that I'm like the Morrigan or Freya, but I'm not. Like, I am not that kind of a person. I hate arguments and conflict, and that's kind of what they do. And I don't love the idea of like the home and pregnancy and children. Like, I'm not. So I don't know, I guess hell is the closest, but she's not married, and I do enjoy being married. But other than that, like, I don't know. Number 19. Do you use astrology in your practice? In what ways? I mean, kind of. Like, I try to be aware to some degree of what the overall zodiac season is that we're in. So like right now, we just moved into Virgo not too long ago. Actually, no, we changed out of Virgo, now we're in Libra. We're in Libra. And so like focusing on those aspects a little, and like a little bit more into like the days of the week and like what planet rules what, and also a little bit for the moons, a little bit, but that's more of like a getting there thing. Not there yet. I haven't really ever been huge on astrology, so it's like a new thing I'm kind of adding into the mix a little bit at a time. Question 20. What, if any ways, could you practice dark magic and still respect the beliefs of Wicca? Well, first of all, I'm not Wiccan, so that would be fine. I'm not a huge fan of like curses and hexes and stuff. I'm more of a justice kind of vibes, like bring to this person what they deserve for what has been done to me kind of attitude, which maybe that would be considered a curse, but again, I'm not Wiccan, and I kind of follow Penzak's thing to some degree of just like the least amount of harm, because honestly harming others really doesn't get you very far most of the time. I feel like that asterisk has to be there for a reason, but even then, like let's say somebody murdered a family member of mine, that person I would want revenge, but in revenge in the aspect of getting the justice deserved. Whether that's they get a trial, they found guilty, they go to prison for the rest of their lives, they get the death sentence, whatever, karma catches up to them and whoops-a-daisies, you're dead too. Like, whatever way that has to happen, I don't really care about the specifics. I want justice, you know? Again, it's like kind of a gray area, but kind of not. Like, that's the way I view it. But I'm not Wiccan, and I haven't been for a very long time, so I don't really follow that too much. Because again, there's a lot of nuance in there, and like abusers, and people who like molest children and like beat the shit out of their partners. Like, they deserve some justice, you know? Question 21. Do you have any witches in your family? So, my husband. And my mom is like witch curious. Like, she doesn't really believe in it, but she doesn't really not believe in it. She just kind of goes along for the ride. Question 22, what item can you not witch without? Me. Because I can make it up on the spot. I can use whatever is available. If I'm out on the mountainside and I feel like I want to do a ritual, I can find pretty rocks, I can find pretty leaves, I can do whatever I need to do. And if I'm out in a like shopping store, like if I went to a grocery store and was like, okay, find some witchy supplies to do a thing, I could. So I don't feel like there's a tool minus myself. I would need to have the brain at full functioning speeds to be able to do that. But other than that, like, there's not like an item that I can't do anything without. Question 23, what is your favorite Sabbath or time of year ritual? I love Samhain. I've loved Halloween my whole life. However, I am kind of leaning more towards Yule anymore, just because I haven't had the Halloween spirit for so long. And while it is still one of my favorite times of the year, I think I look forward to Yule more anymore. Because it's like, Samhain's about death, and it's like the more people that you know that die or are dying, it kind of, it puts a little gray cloud over the happy of the time. And also, like, it kind of sucks that, like, I don't have, like, friends to go to, like, a pumpkin patch with. And, like, you know, like, I didn't have a lot of the years for, like, trick-or-treating, and I don't have, like, friends to go and have, like, a Halloween party. Like, it's just my household, really. And so it's hard to keep celebrating a holiday and making it such a big deal when it's like, it's just not, like, it always falls short every time. And yet Yule, every year I manage to make that happen exactly how I want it. And I love the Christmas lights, I love the snow when I don't have to drive in it, and the idea of just rest and comfort foods and cozy movies, because I don't love the horror movies. I don't like that aspect of Halloween. I never have. I think it's really ridiculous, actually, how much gore and just graphic. I don't like it, because it's like, it doesn't scare me. It's just kind of horrifying that you get really entertained by it. It's probably a trauma thing of, like, medically, like, just going like, you know, like, I don't like seeing people die, and like knowing that like people have actually died like that, and like you're getting some kick out of it, just bothers me. And so Halloween's hard anymore, but I still celebrate it, obviously. I still love the decor, and I still love a lot of it. It just gets really hard to celebrate it, and to have that be my favorite. But Yule, it's easy. I love to decorate, I love the tree, I love decorating our yard, all the pretty lights, making family traditions. Like, you know, I need to do that for Halloween. I just haven't, and I have done that with Yule, so it's kind of a tie anymore between the two. Question 24, have you ever had a YouTube burnout? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Lots of times. I finally have figured out what my brain needed for this channel, because for a long time I didn't know what I wanted this to be. And it was hard when the YouTube community was shifting a lot for a long time. And I'm good doing what I do. Like, I know that like I'm never gonna be that YouTuber who does the very aesthetically pleasing videos and has a lot of B-roll and voiceovers and so much work into it. Like, it's not me. Like, it feels too fake, and I don't love that. I miss old school YouTube where we had nothing in focus and it was really crap quality and you couldn't edit and you had to have a timer because you could only upload for 10 minutes. Like, I miss those days. And so it's kind of the struggle of seeing this other wave of YouTubers come in and being like, oh my god, I can never be like them. And trying, but failing, because that's just not who I am. And now that I have the time and I have more of a clear focus, like, my dog decided to bark. I really struggled for a long time on what I wanted this to be, what my content was going to be, and I felt like I'm going to run out of ideas. And like, I was afraid to post often because like, what happens when I run out of ideas? And then it just becomes this or it just becomes that. And like, I just really psyched myself out. And now I'm like, you've been doing this for 13 years as a witch. Your ideas drastically change over time. And I don't think that's ever gonna change, ironically. And so like, it's like, I'll always have ideas. And now I've gotten to almost down to a science of like what types of content I want. Like, I know I want to do this certain things each week and these things around the wheel, and then that leaves just a little bit of space to do whatever I'm kind of like interested in at the time. And I have so many backlogged ideas of like, if I run out, I could start pulling from there. So the burnout finally has gone away. But yeah, It's happened multiple times. And everyone's like, just do what you want on your channel. And then I do, and then I lose a bunch of subscribers and nobody watches anyways. And I'm like, well, cool. So now I've just spaced out my interests. So I have like a toss out channel of like whatever, whatever content. It just lives over there. Vlogging, writing, reading, fiction, and just life in general lives over there. And then I have a cooking channel, and that's the one I usually promote most to the people in the real world because it's a little awkward to be like, I'm a witch and talking about that. And so that's like kind of an easier one to ease them into and be like, here you go, look at me, I'm cooking stuff. It's fun, because it is fun. And I do love cooking. So, you know, like I've kind of found my ways to deal with the burnout. And plus, once I'm able to, I usually try and record in bulk and get those edited and up, and then I can take breaks as I need to, which has been super nice. 25. What is your favorite witchy shop, and do they have an online store? Current fave is, it's called Cat and Cauldron, I think. They're out here in Utah, and I don't know that they have an online shop, but I do really like them. They usually have pretty good pricing. All things considered, at the other shops, they're the best priced ones we've found, and their quality is a lot better than some other places. And the people there are pretty nice. Sometimes their inventory like lacks some of the times, and like it's gotten to the point where like, maybe we'll run by like once a year, because we've gone multiple times and been like, there's like nothing that we would even want, which sucks. But on a whole, they have quite a bit. We don't have that many options here, so. And if I'm shopping online, I honestly just go to Amazon 90% of the time, but I don't need to buy a lot of stuff anymore. And like I'm getting to the point where it's like I want to try to make my own candles, and that's like the only thing. But if we're using like an online shop, probably Joey's channel shop thing, Starry-Eyed Little Lady, I think it is, or Starry-Eyed Supplies or something like that. One of those is her tag for like some of her accounts and some of it's for her shop. But Joey Morris here on YouTube, I love her shop. I bought from her once eons ago, and I still have the candle, and it still burns just as well. I save it for Samhain, light it every year. One day it's gonna die. It's still going strong, and it smells nice. Oh, and Pagan Potions. Their candle, I haven't burned it yet. It smells so good. It's like I just have a scentsy thing going in my house, and it's just a candle sitting there. It smells amazing. And they're on Etsy. When you buy witchy items, do they choose you or do you choose them? I'm gonna be real honest, I feel like that happened a lot more when I was like a baby witch and like a new witch. And now that I'm matured as a witch, I don't care. Like, I will pick a crystal because it looks nice or it's practical. But honestly, I'm not really in like a buying stage anyways, and like getting tools, like I don't need any really anymore. And like if there's a statue, I'm just gonna buy the statue. You know, it's like more aesthetically pleasing, or it fits more of what I'm hoping it's gonna look like. Like there's quite a few that once I have some money, I'm going to buy off of Etsy. They're like hand carved out of wood of the gods, and they're gorgeous, but they're expensive. And so it's like one day I will get those. And like, I'm not gonna be like, oh, well, which ones do you have in stock? I wanna check them out. Like, I'm just gonna buy it, you know? So I feel like, and like, if I go to like a pagan shop, or like, if I go to Pagan Pride whenever it opens up again, like, it's just gonna be like, oh, that's pretty, and grab it, and go, you know? But when I was a baby witch, it's like, oh, but which one calls to me? I don't really do that anymore. Or maybe I do it on like such a subconscious level, I don't even think about it anymore. I just go more practical anymore. Like, what practically do I need? Because I don't need a lot. It's more just replenishing the supply. I have boxes from the Witch's Moon box, and I'm just trying to use them up, and then eventually just only having a very small supply of what I use on the regular, because I have so many that I've never used in years, and I know you're supposed to throw them out, but like, whatever. 28. Do you have an interest in other deities that you don't work with? If so, which ones? Pretty much the Norse pantheon as a whole. I've really only introduced myself to a handful of them, but eventually I want to work with quite a few of them. I don't know about Loki, because like I don't want his chaos in my life too much. It's more of just like I will give you an offering to leave me alone. I'm not ready for your chaos. But like Balder, I'm really excited to work with, and like Scotty. And I don't know about the god of the sea, because there's no ocean around here at all, and our lake is going to be gone soon anyways, so, you know. But I usually switch it up all the time anyways. Do you have a favorite time of day to do spell work? If so, why? So I usually prefer mornings to like early afternoon. I hate doing stuff at night. I'm tired, I have no energy, I feel like crap. So it's like most of the time you're supposed to do your witchery at night. I would rather set an alarm to get up at 1 in the morning and go do a ritual and then go back to bed than to force myself to stay up late and have so low energy and to just force myself to do it just because that's when you're supposed to. Like, I'm not much of a night child. And especially because we get up early, my husband works really early. Honestly, I prefer the middle of the day because I'm less likely to be disturbed and I can just do my thing. Question 30, are you solitary or do you work with a coven? Hello, I am solitary. Obviously. Once in a while I'll do a ritual with my family, but for the most part, it's just little old me. 31. If you could pick a certain witchcraft tradition that fits your practice most, what would it be? Druid, Celtic, Wicca, etc.? Well, I guess it counts as a tradition, right? Pensax? Because I feel like I'm sticking with that one right now. Not to the T, but close. So maybe that one? I just do my own thing. I'm just a solitary witch over here, just doing whatever I want. Does Rebel Witch count as a tradition? Where's the book? Rebel Witch, does that count as a tradition? Because I am down for what Kellyanne recommends. Because 9 times out of 10, she's smart, she knows what she's doing, and I would follow whatever she tells me to do. Because she kind of knows her stuff. And I just like her as a person. So, does that count? Because also she would also tell you to go do whatever the hell you wanted. Because everything is just for funsies. You know, like, I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna go with Rebel Witch tradition. 32. What was the most creative spell you have ever done? What did you use? I don't get very creative with my spells, to be honest. Other people's spells that I've done myself are far more complicated. I keep it very simple. Like, 1 to 2 things. Like, I've got, like, an oil on a candle, or an oil on a stone, or I've drawn on a stone, or I've burned a thing. That's about it. Like, I've done, like, crystal grids, which I guess are kind of complicated, but, like, not really. Like, I've always kept my spells very simple. 33. What do you prefer for divination, tarot, oracle, runes, etc., and why? For getting answers, usually the tarot. I feel like I get a lot out of that. And sometimes oracle decks, and sometimes those are just more of like a daily focus kind of a thing, or like an affirmation versus like getting an answer. The runes, I'm still learning how to get like a good divinatory answer from them. Using them magically is more where I'm at right now, of like, if I want to do like a freezing spell to use this rune, or if I want to do like a growth spell to do this. And not so much of what are the answers from the runes yet. I have done rune readings with them, so I'm getting there, but honestly I use them more for spells, and I use my tarot decks for divination when I need an answer. 34. What are some ways you keep yourself grounded? So I have been doing a lot better on a meditation practice. Going through Inner Temple of Witchcraft has helped a lot with that. I think getting really real with myself and knowing I need to have routines in place has helped to keep me overall grounded, because it helps with like doom scrolling and stuff like that if I have a routine. And so like now I have like a nightly routine of, instead of doom scrolling, I will do inner child work or shadow work and just little stuff like that throughout the day. 35. Have you ever had a spell go horribly wrong? See, that's kind of subjective, because at one point I would have said yes, and then as years go by, the chaos of it kind of dampers. And you're like, there's bigger things in the world though. Because like I've done a love spell, I've done a banishing spell, and needless to say, those backfired immensely. And then I've done a successful love spell, and I've done successful banishing spells, and they've been awesome. And so, like, I have, but it doesn't feel that bad anymore. Like, I'm really just, I'm over it. Like, I don't know. Do you ever just have that where, like, your past just suddenly gets, like, this, it's fine. Like, it's not that big of a deal anymore. 36, what are your opinions on initiation rituals? I agree with what Cunningham had talked about forever. Who initiated the first witch? I don't think you need to be initiated by anybody. I think you can do it yourself. So that's one thing I love about the Inner Temple of Witchcraft books, is that you can do it yourself. you don't need to have the coven there to do it. 37. Have you ever had full contact with your deity? If so, what happened? I don't know what the hell full contact means. Does it mean you've met them on the astral? Because yes. Does it mean you've done like meditations and altar work and you can feel their presence? Because yes. Does it mean going out into nature and like definitely having them there? Yes. Does it mean you've seen them in like 3D real world, as real as your whatever devices that you're watching this on right now? No, because I think that starts to dip into problematic problems. 38. What about you is unwitchy? I feel like you need to have a healthy balance in your life of what is witchcraft and what isn't. Like if I'm reading a fiction book or I'm watching like YouTube videos, 9 times out of 10 I'm not watching it or reading it for a witchcraft perspective. Like if I'm reading a fiction book, I'm reading a fiction book to escape the world, you know? So I don't know if it's like your interests that they're talking about. Because again, this is an older tag. I haven't actually watched these questions in a very long time. But I guess like overall that's about it. I choose my outfits in a witchy context, my hair color in a witchy context. Most of my job is witchery here. And so like some of the other parts of it, like not as much, but even then, like I have a cooking channel and sometimes I'll throw in some like kitchen witchery while I'm doing it, just because like I'm already in the kitchen cooking, I might as well. And you know, like writing, why would I not call on the creative gods to be like, can I have some help? I don't know what I'm doing, you know? So like, and then the rest of my day, like, that's all I do. This is a full-time job, so, you know, it's kind of hard to say, like, what's unwitchy about you. Especially when you do this kind of thing full-time. For the dating witch, how do you tell a new love interest that you are a witch? Typically, that has come up well before we are dating. I mean, I haven't dated in a very long time now. Like, me and my husband have been together for 5 years, and even then, we weren't, like, actively seeking each other out to date, but I wear my stuff very openly. I will always have some kind of jewelry, a necklace of sorts that's very witchy. I always have my rings that are witchy. I have a pentacle ring and a compass ring, and people ask all the time about it, and I'm very open about it. So like, just tell them. Just say it. And question 40. Who is a past witch that has inspired you, famous or not? Obviously, Scott Cunningham inspires me immensely. He was a fiction and witchcraft writer, and so I feel like a lot of ways that really is inspiring to me, because it's like, yeah, I would love to be able to do that. I like to write fiction, and while I've dabbled a little bit in like witch writing, I don't know if I would pursue that to the degree he did, but the idea of doing both and having that be a career, and honestly I look more of it as like my content, as my like outlet for that instead of writing books, and then having my fiction books as my other thing. And just the idea of that he was just out there doing what he could, you know, and that he knew that he was gonna die young, and that he got as much done as he did in the little amount of time that he was able to. Just really inspiring. So anyways, that is it for part 2. I will see you all soon for part 3. I don't know which day you're going to be seeing it, but it'll be pretty soon. So do make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I post every single day. Huge thank you to my patrons. I'll have their names over here. And if you would like to support me and get access to exclusive content, it is patreon.com/nightwillowcrafts. And until next time, thank you so much for watching, and blessed be.